Hi everyone, it's alright. So we're going to be doing just the past 7 days of all the news in Newcastle, and I've got my phone with us. We're just going to literally just run it through, interact with you as well, and obviously I'll reply to your comments as well because I'm using two screens here at the minute as well. So after the Stoke game, this would have been what the Sunday it was that Mark Hughes admitted that his team had talked about the presence of Jamal Lascelles. And obviously Jamal Lascelles had gone and scored. Now, for the question is if Mark Hughes knows about Jamal Lascelles, why is he setting up his team as like a zonal system? Totally don't get that at all. And obviously we all know that Jamal Lascelles went and scored. Now, then the Chronicle started running kind of like a feature of obviously Newcastle's 20th anniversary of winning Barcelona 3-2, and John Bonds was talking about saying, it was absolutely fantastic because not many people realise that John Bonds was actually in that side that would beat Barcelona 3-2 because no one ever talks about him because he wasn't a ghost, but he was more like a lion centre midfielder, wasn't he? Michael Owen, right? Michael Owen, the pundit, right? Anyways, Michael Owen had said that he's been impressed with Rafa Benitez, although he's predicted every single result wrong. But he said that Newcastle lack a marquee signing. Now, what do you reckon about that? Do we lack an actual marquee signing? For me, it's all about keeping your team united, togetherness. Kieran Clark's already touched upon this as well. Keeping the spirit alive. And yes, Newcastle don't have any massive names. However, you've got that unity. You probably look at Newcastle's side and you probably think, yeah, Shelby's probably the best technically gifted. However, there's no one who clearly stands out. All right, Matthew, how are you doing? You all right? Who would you rate the highest out of the central defenders you currently have? I always go on form, Matthew, so I would say Jamal Lascelles at the moment. Technically gifted, I would say Florian Lejeune. Haribo, hello mate, how are you doing? You alright? And then on Sunday, the Sun, don't have a great reputation, do they? They said that Newcastle were linked to PSG goalkeeper Alphonse Areola, who is their second choice goalkeeper. And that'll probably come round again in January. That will get linked to goalkeepers all over again. And to be honest with you, I was sick of hearing about it all summer. Yes, we know about the Reina and the Caballero and so on. Phil Thompson was actually praising Jamal Lascelles as well. He said that he's been a rock, something that they can build on. You can absolutely see that he's a leader. He's been absolutely terrific, so that was nice to see. And then obviously the 20th anniversary, beating Newcastle 3-2. Newcastle beating Barcelona 3-2. I remember that game. I was really, really young myself. The likes of Rivaldo, Guardiola, Figo, Luis Enrique. And then you had Sergi at left back. Who else was playing? Reiziger. Remember him, Michael Reiziger? Ruud Hespen goal. Miguel Nadal. There was all sorts on there. Just a quick stat that came out shortly after that. It took Steve McLaren 12 games to get where the stage where Rafa Benitez is now in the Premier League, which is absolutely a joke. How are you, Jody? How are you doing? You alright? You're going for a 3-1 win, Haribo Red, tomorrow. I'm going 1-0 in Newcastle. Reports was circulating that the Daily Mail had said that Premier League sides are also looking at Sean Longstaff. Sean actually follows us on Twitter, so talented lad. I've been going on about Sean Longstaff now for a good 18 months. Had that great run at Blackpool, scoring 4 from 4 as well. The under-18s, Newcastle under-18s, suffered a 3-2 defeat last Saturday against, funny enough, Brighton. We've seen we play Brighton in the under-23s, under-18s, and tomorrow as well. Haribo, Sheffield United and Newcastle that win tomorrow have 10-3 on Fan League. Well done. Really well done. I don't know what I've got on Fan League yet. Hopefully I'm not too bad as well. Matthew Smith, Ashley's put us for sale. Has he really though? I don't think so. Daniel Donnelly, Tool and Newcastle, Moreno and Rich, you can't even get the words out. I think it'll be tight. I don't think there'll be loads of goals as well. Matt Ritchie was named in the Premier League's fantasy football side as well last week for his performance with his work rate and his assists as well, deservedly so. Don't need to read that out. Jamal Lascelles was named in the Gazzetta dello Sport's European Team of the Week, which is quite an accolade as well. And then moving on to Monday night, you've seen the under-23s drew with Brighton, the likes of Woodman, Barleza, Fernandez, El Marni, who is a friend of the channel as well. He actually featured come off the bench. It was nice to see him back as well. We learned that the Liverpool clash on October the 1st, which is next weekend, is actually sold out. That's a one home game I'm missing, which I'm devastated about because some of you already know that I'm in Miami for that as well. What else we got? Theo Britton, I'm going 2-0 Newcastle. Matthew Smith, rumours. Yeah, it's rumours, isn't it? He didn't believe them. Jose Perez made the most tackles in the Premier League against Stoke. That was surprising as well. Now, Joey Martin had admitted that he was surprised to see Newcastle do really well after the Huddersfield game, because obviously we were poor. He said that it's really, Newcastle had been transformed, and he was worried about the transfers not coming in. I think most fans, not just Joey Barton, I think most fans were as well. The away trip was announced also. That was Tuesday, I think it was. That was sold out for Brighton tomorrow, which is always good. We're always selling out, aren't we? After the under-23s actual game, the under-23s dropped to 5th in the Premier League 2. Moving across now, Mickey Quinn said you might as well enjoy Newcastle's high flying at the moment whilst it lasts, because as we all know, we're flying at the minute. At some point, Newcastle will hit a poor drip of form as well at the minute. Newcastle versus Liverpool is going to be a tight game over the moon if we get a point. Harrow right. Yeah, I think it's important just to keep the unbeaten run going, even if we pick up an odd draw here. What a captain Jamal looks to be turning out with Daniel Donnelly. Yeah, he is, and considering who he hangs out with as well, because he hangs out with the likes of Orlando Aarons and DeAndre Yedlin. They're more like characters, jokers, and whereas he seems to be quite serious when he speaks to the media. Off media, I don't think he is. I think he's one of the lads, me. England coach Eddie Jones, who visited Newcastle to pass on his experience of coaching to the academy Benton. So it was nice to see England coach. Well, is he Australian or is he New Zealand? Just let us know in the comments. I'm sure he's one of them. Ray Wilkins had on Sky Sports News. Ray Wilkins had given Newcastle an A after their win. Matt Ritchie then also praised Jamal Lascelles with his outstanding performances the last couple of weeks as well. My cats are gone absolutely mental. Behave! Right, so Mikel Mourinho believes that him and Jonjo Shelvey can play together in centre midfield. Do you reckon that Mikel Mourinho and Shelvey can play in centre midfield? I've got my doubts about it. I think they can all right, but I think you need someone who's going to protect them, because Shelvey likes to get forward and spray it, and then Mourinho likes to bring the ball forward as well. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Where it's that debate, isn't it? Can all three go in the system as well? Any thoughts on Aaron's not even making the bench recently, Matthew Smith? I was very surprised by it. I'm not going to lie to you, considering when we went to the Forest game, in the cup game, he's absolutely outstanding until he pulled his. Well, he did have that tight. What was it? It was a hamstring or a tear or something very, very small, and he wasn't going to be risked. But very surprised not to see him on the bench. Hopefully he gets a bit of run of action, because I like him. I like Rolando Aarons as well. Stick with what we've got, I reckon. How about right? Okay then, right. So I've just actually lost all my news. Fantastic. So obviously the Brighton game. I think it's going to be tight. I think there'll be one goal in it. Sorry, I'm just waiting for all my news to catch up. I think we'll play the counter-attacking system as well. I don't think it's going to be a pretty game. There's only actually one game on Sky Sports tomorrow, because a lot of people think there's two games on Super Sunday, because Arsenal play West Brom on the Monday night, isn't it? Tickets for the Crystal Palace fixture went on sale for non-season ticket holders this time around. And the referee for this weekend will be Andre Mariner, who interestingly sent off Jonjo Shelvey at the beginning of the season. Jonjo will be aware. Jordy, what do you make of the team? I've said I swapped Atsu for Shelvey, Gale for Hoslu, and Mbemba for Gamas. I will keep Mbemba in there because I think he's been pretty decent, quite good at left back, although Gamas has against Swansea as well. Atsu for Shelvey. So where are you going to play Shelvey then? And Gale for Hoslu. I would play Gale for the counter-attacking, but I wouldn't be too surprised, if Rafa goes for Hoslu. Daniel Donnelly says, Shelvey and Moreno can't play together. We'll look too weak defensively unless we play without the number 10 and a defensive midfielder, which Rafa won't do. I think if you're going to try it, you've got to try it at home. I don't think you can play it away, personally, I don't think. Crystal Palace look awful like Harry Boris. I know. Tickets for the away game at Burnley are available at NUFC members with 50 points. We know that comes down anyways. And also tickets for the St Mary's are now a general sale. We knew that would go out and sell out. The St James's Park will host a special meeting in partnership with the FSF about how football can help in food banks. So basically, obviously, we've seen the food banks opposite the 9 Bar promoting it and trying to, get money and donate. And we're seeing Rafa hand over the cheque as well. So they're doing really well. 18 years ago, this was 4 days ago, 18 years ago, Sir Bobby Robson took charge of his first home game at Newcastle, where we thumped Sheffield Wednesday 8-0 with Alan Shearer getting 5. 2 of those were penalties, mind you. But a lot of people think that's actually Bobby Robson's first game. It wasn't. Bobby Robson's first game was actually the game before that was a 1-0 away defeat to Chelsea, when Chelsea started to buy foreign talent really early on, and were absolutely really, really unlucky not to come away for a point. Moving forward, I see Nikos Dabizas walk past work. That was odd. Tim Krul officially left. So what do you make of that? Tim Krul officially leaving. It's an interesting one. That, and I've always said that. Look, it wasn't really a loan, really. Because why would you loan a goalkeeper for a year and then turn it into permanent for the same length of time? That doesn't make sense. Rafa was surprised at the timing of the announcement of Brighton announcing this deal. So, a local TV company has got in touch and once again involved with our Bradley Lowry charity event, which personally I'm delighted about. It's Made in Tiny We Are who got involved. So we have an interview a week before the event on the 17th of October, and then on the day they're going to be meeting us at St James's Park as we arrive, filming us as well, which is pretty cool. We've been on Sun FM, me, Alicia and Sharky have been on there as well. Rob done an article looking at the head-to-heads. Rob Spiegel, who's been on fan cams a couple of times, he done a head-to-head article. 2 days ago, DeAndre Yedlin said that the focus is on Brighton, not actually the league table. It's important not to get carried away. Peter Beardsley had said that talented youngsters such as Adam Armstrong, Sean Langstaff and Ivan Toney are doing fantastically well, but can they cut it at the top level? Well, we'll never know unless they're given their chance. We'll never know that. I think you've got to give, especially in particular Adam Armstrong, because he's been in the books 2 or 3 years. If you don't have him, because I generally thought that he'd be amongst the squad this year, considering we don't have many bodies up front. Sean Longstaff, as I think he got his loan needs deal extended. Ivan Toney started well. I think his spell needs for the full season as well. SBG says, do you think Krul will play tomorrow for Brighton? No, I don't. I think he'll continue with Ryan. Jody says, Matt Ritchie on one wing, Shelby on the opposite. I don't think you can play that. I think you're wasting John Joe Shelby's talent if you put him on the wing. Yeah, away from home, possibly, or maybe on that right flank, but I don't want to see Shelby out there. Krul is a good stopper, but his distribution isn't good enough. Hasn't played for a while. Well, he did all right in the midweek, the defeat to Bournemouth in the League Cup. He actually done all right there. That was by Matthew Smith, by the way. Harabed going to get a kip. Good stream. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. See you tomorrow. See you, mate. Okay, so it was actually a stat come out saying that Newcastle had the youngest side starting 11 in the whole of the Premier League on average so far this season as well, which is interesting, isn't it? That we've got the youngest side. Mickey Quinn asked, why can't Newcastle go and make 4 wins out of 4, which is a good point. Why can't we? The under-23s game on Monday night against Wolves will be free on NUFC TV if you stream it. I'm across the road at work. I'm hopefully get a finish early so I can run over. If not, I'll see the second half at least. SBG says Elliot Adalo. Elliot, because I think they're close, but I'll just go for Elliot just. And then obviously I had the new look whiteboard. I hinted on that there's going to be some new wear. What does make the new whiteboard look? I'm thinking about getting like the Red Men TV do. As I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking about getting like a Sabitio thingy over the top, like a cloth of green, like a pitch, Sabitio pitch. That's what I was trying to say. Fan league, we'll skip that. Former Newcastle left back Jose Enrique has described his favourite moment at Newcastle was scoring against Nottingham Forest on the night we went up that year as well. Obviously, he came out and said that, look, because he actually tweeted and he ranted a little bit saying that Newcastle aren't going anywhere, and this is deja vu kicking in here, saying Jose Enrique was saying that Newcastle aren't going anywhere. They're selling the likes of Kevin Nolan when Kevin Nolan was decent, and Andy Carroll, that Newcastle aren't showing any ambition. 7 or 8 years later, we're still in the same boat, aren't we? Youngest side with the youngest captain, yet we are 7th in the league, all thanks to Rafa, I reckon. Well, Daniel, we could go 4th. AO, is that how you pronounce it, AO? Would you play Shelby Moreno from the start? I personally wouldn't. It's difficult. I don't want to break up Hayden because Hayden does your dirty work. And I think you always need that biter in midfield. If you bring 2 players who want to get on the ball a lot, I think that could cause an issue. I would like to see it, don't get me wrong, but probably at home, not away from home. I don't want to say that. Delighted to see Gareth Speed inducted in the National Football Museum Hall of Fame. Great man, great footballer. Met him a couple of times as well when I was a youngster as well. Great footballer. I was signed him from Everton. I remember when he scored a hat-trick for Everton when they won 7-1 against Southampton, I think it was. And then we signed him about a year later. Absolutely fantastic. Get your foot in, can deliver a ball. Everybody goes to him. He's a go-to guy. brilliant in the air. Brilliant in the air. What a leap Gary Speed had. Seriously, really, really missed. And we've seen obviously when he passed away the likes of Craig Bellamy and Shea Given upset when they were playing football, which is understandable, you know. Right, Mark Lawrenson. I'm sick of these pundits. Mark Lawrenson said that Newcastle won't win. In fact, will lose to Brighton. That's what Mark Lawrenson says. Moving on. Chris Hughton has actually praised Rafa Benitez, saying that the players that he actually bought last season would perform in the Premier League. That's what Chris Hughton has said. Do you reckon that's true? The players that were bought last season are now performing this season in the Premier League? Let us know. Let me know. Matthew Smith said, I think Shelvey, Moreno and Hayden could all play together, but Shelvey or Moreno would have to push forward to support the attackers. Well, that's what people are saying. Can you play Shelvey in the number 10? I would like to say it. Yes, Jose Perez is doing really well, high pressing, but Perez for me is too much inconsistency. Tickets for the no, it's not under. Tickets for the game against Burnley have dropped to 25 points, which we knew about. Jamal Lascelles is an interesting article. This is on Newcastle Fans TV Facebook page. Jamal Lascelles has said that he's always been a leader, even when he's young. He was always the big guy, you know. Interesting. That's on our Facebook page. You want to look at that. Paul Merson has predicted a draw for us. This got quite a response on Twitter, actually. But I'm sick of talking about pundits. They're different nanos. They're really different nanos. But if you've seen Scott Minto's video on our Facebook page, he goes into detail. Like, do you know how Paul Merson says, oh, Newcastle are going to draw? Where actually Scott Minto, he used to play for Chelsea, goes into a lot of detail explaining why he's gone for Newcastle 1-0 win. He backs it up as well, if that makes sense. He talks a good game as well. Ayo, did you see the Sunderland score? In all seriousness, do you reckon they'll get relegated again? You know, I've seen it all over Twitter. It was 2-1, wasn't it, against Cardiff? I didn't think they'll get relegated. I think they'll actually come up the league. I thought they'll probably come top 10. And I'm going to state that. I think they're in a bit of, turmoil at the moment, but I think they will rise the table. I don't think they'll come up, mind you. I seriously didn't think that's going to happen. What else we've got? Rafa's press conference news. We'll get onto that now. We're seeing Josh come on the channel as well, a Brighton fan, if you want to have a look at that on the main channel as well. Right, so Christian Atsu talked about being a Premier League player, said that he had to step down at the Championship to improve, and then he was obviously became, well, the back end of the Championship season, he became like a mainstay, didn't he? He made that left wing position his own. We've seen Gouffran leave, and he started the season fairly alright. I'll probably give Atsu so far this season probably, a 7? Would you agree with that? We have Daniel Donnelly. If Merson thinks we're going to draw, we'll certainly win. 4th in the league again. Nice. Do you know what it is? Not one pundit's got the prediction right, which really worries me, considering they're meant to be experts at this game. Tall Lewis, Newcastle. What do we need in the next transfer window? I think a striker and put Mitrovic on loan. I don't think that's any. Put Mitrovic on loan is no good for anybody, because if you're going to get rid of Mitrovic, you need to sell him for a good fee, then reinvest it. I don't think the point in loaning. I think you need a number 10 desperately. I've said it for numerous times now. Newcastle need a new number 10. Even I said that in the Championship when we're winning games and so on. Steve Howie had turned around and said that he believes Shelvey will come in for Isaac Hayden. It'll be Shelvey and Moreno in midfield, which is interesting in that one. Matthew Smith says, I can't see any signings other than a loan being made in January. Well, we've got money. I know definitely that we've got money because we've been paid off, obviously, my employer, Sky, a couple of times already for the TV rights. John Riedlin was expressing that he was devastated to miss the start of the season because obviously got injured in the Wolfsburg, was it the Wolfsburg one? In their friendly, and then obviously Manquillo started the last few games, obviously, except from the last game out, Yedlin played, but he said he was devastated. Chris Hughton went on to say that he believes the match on Sunday will be won by a single goal. I think that as well. I don't think it'll be high scoring. Now this one's interesting, what the Chronicle said. Chronicle believe that scouts will head off to Spain, France, Germany, Holland, Belgium and Portugal. Are now set off to do a scouting mission for Rafa Benitez, and obviously he'll come back with a report and so on and so on. So already January's been thought of by the media already, and it's only literally coming towards the end of September. Mental, absolutely mental. Right, let's move on to Rafa's press conference on Friday. So he's basically said that he wished Tim Krul all the best, but he knew where he stood at the start of the season. And I think that's what you get with Rafa. I said this on one of the videos. I said, look, Rafa Benitez tells you straight. He doesn't like, oh, if you do this, you do that. He tells, right, you're in or out. He doesn't care. And I think that's at least you get honesty from Rafa Benitez. I think Tim Krul, personally, I think has been treated a little bit unfairly in my eyes. And I'd like to see him give him a testimonial when he retires because the lad deserves it. Obviously, he's got a Geordie girlfriend, Geordie daughter and everything. It's a shame, isn't it? It's one of them. Yes, his talent's in question and so on. He's not as good as what he used to be, etc., etc. But it would be nice to actually do something properly for Tim Krul. Alex Taylor. Hello, Alex. Right, you say our Januaries are always shit. I know. Remember that January when we gone and got 5 French players? Crackers. Is the admin speculation about Sunderland serious or rubbish? That's by Geordie. I didn't know. In all honesty, I don't care either. I don't care about Sunderland. If they're going admin, they're going admin. As many people as you're starting to learn, I very, very rarely talk about Sunderland. For me, yes, they're a rival and etc. etc. And you like to poke fun at them. Paul does on our Facebook page all the time. But for me, they're like they only exist when we play them. You know, if that makes sense. Right. What else we've got? Maybe a £20 million bid for Berahino again. Looking at that now, that looks like a good move. That would actually didn't get him, wasn't it, Matthew? EO says, do you think we'll have a good January? Who do you think will sign realistically? Personally, I would like to see someone who actually knows the Premier League, who's playing the Premier League, rather than getting someone foreign. I don't mind him being foreign and playing in the Premier League, as long as he knows the league inside out. Tor Lewis, Newcastle said, do you see Gary Lineker's tweet? Yeah, I did, about Newcastle So Alex Taylor, yo, love the vids. Thank you very much. If you're just watching this for the first time, this is just basically, this channel was kind of like dead and it had a lot of like vlogs. You might have seen one from New York earlier on when I was in New York. And I was thinking to myself, what can I do? So I thought, right, I'll put some live streams in there. I'll show you how I make videos. I'll do behind the scenes when I'm going to events and stuff like that. And I thought this is what I'll use this for and talk about subjects as well. This is concerning. Rafa Benitez said that he expressed that Florian Lejeune is having treatment, but it was widely reported that he won't be considered on Sunday. So hopefully he has not got a niggling injury, because that's the last thing that we want for new signing. Caldolo is back, but I don't think he'll play. Freddie Woodman's obviously been on the bench the last few times out as well. Rafa Benitez says he hasn't been thinking of getting into third place. Obviously, we know that's now impossible with the results of the weekend. But he is focused on Sunday instead, not the league table. Rafa always says that though. Excuse me. Right. Rafa said that players who weren't... Do you know the players who aren't playing at the minute? So the likes of Rolando Aarons, that's a prime example. You know, the first game of the season, Rafa said that Jamal Lascelles was on the bench when he had started Clark and Lejeune. Obviously, we know Lascelles come on with an injury. But he said, look, Lascelles is a perfect example that he wasn't selected in the starting 11. However, he went out there and trained hard, worked hard, got back in the side, and now he's undroppable at the minute. Jamal Lascelles. So Rafa was saying, look, he's the ideal one I'm referring to here for players who aren't playing at the minute. The St Mary's, as we know, is being classed as a sellout. Newcastle, well, this is brilliant by the home fans. Everybody goes, only Chelsea outperforming us at the moment, but we've got another, 14,000 more fans than what Chelsea have in St James Park. Newcastle have sold out their home ground 99.3%, so we're second best in the whole of the league, which is absolutely fantastic as well. AO, are you going to be doing any FIFA 18 videos? Probably not, because I don't really go on the PS4 much. I'd probably go on it once every 10 days for a couple of hours. I was not counting. I've got them in the championship, and that's what I do career mode. I might do. It's just I'm kind of grown away from it. It might be my age. Who knows? Daniel Donnelly says, do you reckon we'll actually break our transfer record in January? Not January. I think we might in next summer though. Matthew Smith can't say he's paying more than £15 million for one player anytime soon. Probably agree with you on that. Alex Taylor, Daniel Donnelly, you're asking Daniel a question there. Tall Lewis, Newcastle, do you think players like Aarons will leave the club soon? No, because he's tied down to last season. He signed a 5-year deal. Maybe a loan, maybe at the Championship club. Rob Elliott said that he absolutely loves it in Newcastle because obviously he lives in the colour coach. There's an article on our Facebook page. Absolutely loves it in colour coach. He loves the coastline. He loves the people. He loves the area. His family are settled. His mum's moved up in the area to see the grandkids as well. Rob Elliott turned around and said, look, even if I move away, I'll always drive from colour coats. Which is nice for Rob Elliott. Fair play to him. He's fell in love with colour coats. Mind you, it's fucking cold in the winter. Right, okay. Right, so today's news. Mike Ashley. It's rumoured that he will sell the club for $380 million. This was according to the Times. That's a load of bollocks if you ask me. NUFC winger Christian Atsu obviously accepted that he was a championship player. People were going to Christian Atsu saying, look, you're a championship, why are you playing in the championship? Why are you playing in a league lower than what the Premier League is? And he said, look, I'm going to improve as a player, drop him down, and probably the right thing to do for Christian Atsu. Right, how do I say this? Olarenwaju Kayode, if I pronounced that right, the Nigerian striker, expressed that he actually turned down a move to Newcastle in the summer, and he joined Manchester City instead, who then loaned him out to Girona, who actually play Barcelona the night, don't they? Already have. Anyways, England assistant manager Steve Holland will be at the game tomorrow. He is obviously Gareth Southgate's assistant, so he'll be at the Amex watching English players like Lewis Dunk, Sully March, Jamal Lascelles, John Joe Shelby, and so on and so on. So hopefully our boys impress him. More on Bradley Larry. Bet safe have Dwight Gale is 11-5 to score first goal. Super Malcolm McDonald said that you need to keep John Joe Shelby on the bench, which is interesting because Steve Howe says that he's going to come in. So Super Mac was saying, look, don't change the way the side performed last week. Keep it the way it is. Would use. Interesting. And Newcastle obviously dropped to 7th in the league. Obviously with the results today. Just speaking of the results today as well, obviously Newcastle had dropped down. That's all the news this week as well. I'll be answering your questions before I finish off. So obviously Newcastle dropped down to 7th in the league as well. But obviously we can get a win, we'll go 4th. I think Newcastle will play on the counter, as I mentioned. I think Brighton will play the Grosh, if I've said that right, in the number 10, the man who's got 2 goals and 2 assists with 1 up top. They'll go down the right flank, Brighton. They'll attack us down the right. They always go down there. You keep Anthony Knockaert quiet. I think that's fine. I think Chancellor Bemba will be spot on for that. I just want to tell you a couple of things that are going on with the channel and where everybody is at the moment. And honestly, I want to use genuine thoughts. So at the moment, I'll just quickly mention a couple of things that we are after on Newcastle Fans TV. We're actually after a full-time presenter. This has been going on for a while. We want people who are... There's a couple of rules that you need to apply to it that you can edit in a fairly decent manner. You've got to be over 18 and you have to attend games as well. So we've always been after that 4th presenter. So if you are interested, let us know. And also we're after an international vlogger. So if you do live abroad and you are watching Newcastle games at stupid times o'clock, record it. We want to know about it. We'll put it on our video as well. Obviously, we've got the Bradley Larry Foundation on the 24th of October, as I've touched upon already. We've got a couple of local media firms involved in that as well. Hopefully get a few more. Get involved in it. We're going to have a couple of silly ideas. Like we're going to do, obviously, the walking podcast and the stream and everything. Take that on one side. People like dressing up as women if you lose a quiz on the way of the walking. So you might see me dressed up as a woman. So imagine the trolls. They'll absolutely have a field day. All the kids, the FT Twitter lot. What else is happening as well? Will's down in uni at the minute on Salford, if you're wondering where Will is. So hopefully Will was meant to do a video on the Brighton lad who come on. So hopefully we'll get a few more videos from Will. I'm going to push him. I'm nagging at him. I think Alicia's come on leaps and bounds. I think she's really, really improved. I think she works better with 2 people in a video rather than on her own personally, but confidence is so much more. I'm liking it. She's getting much more involved and people aren't criticising her as much as well, which is absolutely fantastic to see. All the guys on Facebook, we've got Paul, we've got Kyle, we've got Mark, who and myself who run the Facebook page as well, so head over there. And your Twitter, there's a few people who have access to Twitter. I deal with the inboxes. And a couple of people who don't want to be named deal with replies as well. I do the news, Snapchat, Newcastle Fans TV, Snapchat at the bottom as well. What else? What else we've got as well? Obviously, we had the change to the whiteboard as well. I'm just going to drink me water. As I was saying, I was going to Miami. And so when I'm in Miami, which is from Friday, obviously all the preview videos will already be lined up for the game on Sunday. But the review's probably going to be done somewhere in Miami. I'm going to probably pick somewhere fancy, which looks mint, which looks good scenery behind us, maybe on the beach. I don't know, maybe in Florida Keys. Maybe I might do a video because I'm going to watch the Major League Baseball. I am watching the Newcastle game. I'm not going to be missing it. It's 11:30 over there on Sunday. Next Sunday, that is. So I'll be in the bar doing all my recording and everything. So the videos will continue. You just might see my videos a day behind for obvious reasons, because America's 5 hours behind on the east side of that as well. Yes, I might do the Alan Shearer. I've just seen that in the corner of my eye there. The Alan Shearer, all of that. Yeah, Alan Shearer retweeted my tweet in Tenerife earlier on this year, and I was going around going, I was doing that everywhere, and that went absolutely mental. It was retweeted over something like 700, 800 times and liked over 1,500 times. It was crazy. My phone was going mental. So yeah, so the videos will continue tomorrow after the game. We'll get either Alicia or Will, if I can get a hold of him, strangle his neck, because he's always out on the piss every night, which is fair enough. You're a student, just don't go spending any of my tax money. So yeah, so I'll try and get one of them to do the players ratings. I'll do the review. I'm obviously not at the game. I'm going to come to the away game in a second. I'm going to come on to that in a minute. So I will be doing a vlog, because I'm going in the city centre with Alan, who you might have seen a couple of times on the video with his fancy car. So we're heading into Toon just for a bit of atmosphere rather than watching it in here. What else? We'll have quick thoughts as well out tomorrow as well, and then we'll do the analyst video probably Monday or Tuesday. It'll be one of those two. My birthday's coming up as well. It's on Wednesday. If anybody would like to sign me some money, that'd be lovely. But my birthday's on Wednesday. I'll get answering your questions in a second. But yes, Burnley. We're going to the Burnley away game as well. If anybody's gone to that one. The crew's gone, so it'll be handy. Right, let's get through some questions before I love yous and leave yous. Right, so the Times talks so much shit. That's AO. Well, all the rags do, to be honest. To be fair, I think they're probably the Guardian are okay. I think the Guardian are decent. I think the Chronicle are most of the time the Chronicle are decent as well. Matthew Smith says the Chronicle also reported it, to be fair, but nothing from Keith Downey or Sky. Yeah. Spot on. Alex Taylor, play Woodman in the Cups, need to break the first team. Well, that's the thing with Woodman. We haven't got any cup games. We haven't got until the FA Cup, but we have got that Checker Trade Trophy, which I'm sure you'll pick. Instead of picking Nathan Hawke, I'm sure he'll go for Freddie Woodman, Peter Beardsley and Rafa. You would think so, wouldn't you? Tall Lewis says, remember when Vince McMahon was interested in buying a club? Do you think we'll try again? Well, I don't think that was genuine, personally. I think that was just a bit of a... I don't know. I just don't think that was real, to be honest with you. Should have played two top, Hulk Hogan and Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? I used to watch a lot of wrestling, but I kind of grew out of it. I think I'm just growing up. I think I'm getting old. Just didn't watch wrestling, didn't play FIFA. Daniel Donny said, do the Shearer celebration. I've already mentioned I will be doing the Shearer. Predicting 2-0, Alex, spot on. I'm going for 1-0. Who will be doing the after-match talk things after the match? Well, I've already said what we're doing, so I'll try and get Alicia or Will to do an individual video on player ratings. Alicia's a little bit harsher than she on player ratings, bloody hell. Gives people 6s and 7s and that. So she might do it, or I'll try and get Will to do it. Will's a nightmare to get a hold of at the minute. And obviously I'll do the rest because it's a away game. And then obviously we'll start focusing after, it'll probably be Tuesday onwards, we'll start focusing on Liverpool as well. But that is literally it. So I'm going to love yous and leave yous, but hopefully like the stream. Matthew Smith says 2-1, Hostler and Richie to score. Right, see you later everyone. Watch what you're doing. Have a good night. Bye bye.